Alright then, so what do? The bell in the stuccoed and whitewashed Moscow station gave its third and final clang, and the platform erupted into frenzy. We boarded calmly. Gentlemen that we are. So we boarded calmly and found ourselves in a small cabin with heated water and a shaving mirror. Wait. No. I'll see what happens. So we are going from Moscow to Ekaterinburg first. And by the way, I just quickly went back and changed my destination from Vladivostok, which is closed, unless you're military. Maybe there's a way to get military uniforms on the way, but I wasn't sure. To Irkutsk, and from Irkutsk at Lake Baikal we can then go south to Beijing or something. Let's see. So it's day 9, 10 p.m. We were away. I was affixed by the window the first day, or I familiarized myself with the train's layout. The last two carriages were heavily guarded prison cars, then 4th class, then 3rd, and so on. The amenities scattered between passenger cars. The smoking room was beside the dining car, plushly decked in Moorish fashion with low seats. I sat myself down and shared a cigar with a Russian businessman, who told me that you could pick up revolvers in Honolulu, extremely valuable in New Orleans. It's good to see that wherever one goes, the conversations one has are much the same. My bed that night swayed along with the motion of the train. From Moscow to Karimskaya was a journey of over 5,000 miles, and we had only just begun. Yeah, it's hurting my master a little bit. So let's try and close shave superb. Make him a bit more comfortable. Our fellow passengers were a mix of convicts, political radicals, prospectors, businessmen, and military officers. In the midst of this was a young lady, Rosa, modishly dressed in a rich military-style jacket and fur toque. Military-style jacket, huh? I made her acquaintance, one only too easily. She was desperate for a sympathetic ear and told me her great secret. She'd fallen in love with a peasant boy in 4th class called Jake, by which I understood that they had shared a glance of extreme passion in the baggage car. How romantic. A glance of extreme passion. Ah, to be young again. I resolved to keep an eye on their burgeoning locomotive romance. Crossed the Volga in early afternoon, crawling slowly over a bridge perched on high stone pillars. It was a muddy, sluggish river, clogged with floating islands of rafts and large steamers bound for the Caspian Sea. I could just hear the lilting, rhythmic, oar-beating songs of the Volga boatmen of the whistle of the steamboats. Converse. Greetings, Monsieur Degustant. Let us share a glass of wine together, Monsieur. I'm told one can travel by the Mongol horse caravan from Irkutsk to Urga. Irkutsk, Beijing? You mentioned trains. I've been told I knew a man who had quite an adventure aboard the Salt Lake and San Pedro Railroad from Salt Lake City to San Pedro. Shortbread biscuit? Thank you. Beijing. I hear there are no airships allowed in Beijing. Beijing, Lahore? My good man, you can pick up saffron crocuses in Lahore that will sell for a fortune in Hong Kong. You mentioned trains. I've been told Houston can be reached from Cheyenne aboard the Houston and Texas Railroad. The city has grown to cover the region of the Buffalo Bayou. Goodbye. So, Irkutsk, yeah, I knew that already. So, San Pedro, Las Vegas, Salt Lake City. Yeah, I need to make my way across the US eventually anyways, so that can't hurt. Cheyenne, Dallas, and then we enter Ekaterinburg. Crossed the Urals today. At the risk of sounding like a jaded traveler, I must admit that they are hardly magnificent. a heaving up of earth and forested hills for a few 100 miles. We stopped for an hour at Ekaterinburg, where I mean, we could make friends with the military, I guess. Persuaded Monsieur Fogg to jump off? No. Spotted the young lady slipping off to 4th class. Her worried mamma followed soon after, demanding whether anyone had seen her daughter, Rosa. I made an excuse for Rosa, gesturing discreetly in the direction of the lavatories. There were mixed-sex conveniences and cause of much inconvenience, truth be told. Her mamma... Oh, so I can decide what her mother's reaction is here? That's interesting. Say she was convinced, and settled down to her luncheon with gusto. Rosa returned a half-hour hence, cheeks flushed but otherwise unharmed. Well, I hope she isn't pregnant now. She cast me a grateful glance. I could only hope her little amour would not blossom into outright scandal. Yeah, one can only hope. We're in roaring health, but we must make haste. Greetings, Madame Pavlichenko. May I see your ticket? How I despise this job. Irkutsk, Beijing, Irkutsk. Incredible. No idea, but now there is an outpost of the Artificers Guild there. I don't know, but the only bank in Osirisk has gone bankrupt. Goodbye. No new routes? Also, I should take care of my master a little bit here. Omsk. Time on board trains takes on a meditative quality. I visited the library car and met Goland, the daughter of a Mongol chieftain, who was poring over a thick volume of algebra. I lamented my lack of mathematical skill, and she laughed. I must study algebra, for if I am to be an engineer in the Imperial Army of Russia. I wish to leave behind my ancestors' warrior past. It is a new world, I observed. We will make ourselves as we like. She laughed, delighted. Just so. She folded the book closed. You have travelled, monsieur. They call us barbarians, don't they? She asked. I felt sorry for her and wanted to soften the truth, which is that people across the world are their most eloquent when denouncing other people whom they have never met. Oh, how deep. Passepartout, how deep. They do, I agreed, and did not try to ease the weight of my words. I have heard it said. She leaned forward, eyes shining. The truth is, there is more going on in my country than most outsiders know. We are growing fast as a people. What do you mean? I asked, intrigued. This is the age of progress, she replied, tapping her books. Of systems and of thermodynamics, and my people, we've discovered some very interesting things. I was intrigued, and leaned forward to hear more, but the girl shook her head. I won't tell you, she said, and laughed. I will show you. Tomorrow night, on the deck. I'll be there. I nodded. We conversed until supper, and she presented me with her family's salde, a Mongolian horsetail banner. I do not have any need of my past where I am going, she said. You have it. Do with it what you will. Yokohama. Alright. Omsk today we decanted full score of British, Dutch and German merchants, and took on more military officers, who cleared an entire first-class carriage for the use of a mysterious couple. I caught a brief glimpse of the woman behind the bristle of bayonets. I was fairly overset with curiosity, but it would be several days before I encountered the couple again. The hour grew late, and my meeting with Goland the mathematician approached. Monsieur Fogg watched my bustling about our cabin with a suspicion. You look as though you're planning an escape, he remarked. I am meeting someone, I'll be honest with my master. Monsieur Fogg's eyebrow twitched in that manner of his, but he said nothing, returning to his newspaper. I breathed a sigh of relief, and hurried from the cabin to meet Goland on the viewing platform of the train. You came, she said. I am glad. As am I. She looked at my eyes for a moment, then smiled quickly. Taking my hand, she walked along the edge of the rail, the wind tugging her hair into a wild dance. The train's lamp was a single candle in the endless night. Lifting my hand past her cheek, she pointed my finger out into the desert. There! I saw nothing except evening stars. I shook my head, and Goland laughed. There! She exclaimed. How many stars do you know that move? She was right. One gleaming dot on the dark horizon was lifting upwards. Goland squeezed my hand. That star is the Garuda, launching, she replied. It flies at night to keep it a secret. But now you know it. Thank you for entrusting me with it, I replied, and she nodded. You seem an honest soul. I shall hold it in my heart, I replied with gallant sincerity. I hope so. Her dark eyes flashed with hot anger. A moment later she stood on her tiptoes and leaned forward. Out there on the deck of that remarkable train, the endless Russian night bitterly cold, the Lady of the Steppes kissed me. Oh God! What have we gotten ourselves into here? Rosa absconded once again, and her mother caused quite a ruckus in the breakfast car. Apparently the girl is affianced to a rich, rather stiff-looking German merchant who boarded at Omsk. I predict this comedy of errors will come to no happy end. As the sun set over the taiga, Monsieur Fogg expressed a mild boredom with the monotonous view from the carriage windows. My own feelings were quite different as I stared across that wild view. A view I liked so much that, once night had fallen, I went to stretch my legs on the viewing platform for a second night in a row. Let's attend to Fogg a little bit. You're most entertaining, Passepartout. We reached the magnificent Angara Valley that holds the mining camp of Irkutsk. Now this is interesting. Sorry, let me get this over here. Okay. Now, disembarked as per our tickets. Looked through the window. There was nothing that could persuade us to disembark. Aren't these two efficiently the same? So we're at Baikal Lake now. Omsk, Ekaterinburg. I mean, Vladivostok is closed, right? So I think I'll get off. Monsieur Fogg looking somewhat more perturbed than usual by the bleak surroundings. As the train pulled away, I wondered if we'd made a terrible mistake. I saw Goland disembarking with her suitcase of books and struggling under the weight. I rushed to her aid, but she brushed my help aside. "Generous sir," she murmured, "but I cannot be seen to be helped by a Frenchman." I stood back, stung, and watched as she met a man on the platform. An uncle, perhaps, who scooped her up with great familiarity and led her away on a horse, to a horse, parked neatly in the yard beyond. Then she was gone. Bye, Goland. In 2 days. Oh, 510 we could leave tomorrow. Let's do that. Or we could go to Vladivostok. Or we couldn't, I guess. Why can't we? Because we've booked that other one now? Okay, so let's explore. They don't seem to have a market here or anything. Irkutsk was a surprisingly beautiful town and packed with so many churches that one could not only look up at any street corner without seeing a dome or steeple. We explored, entering the city across a bridge made of tethered boats. My acrobatic skills made the crossing easy, but Monsieur Fogg found it a most unpleasant business and, once across, refused to return to the other bank. On a street corner across the water we saw a group of soldiers stop and turn to face the sun, praying bareheaded. There's a steady calm about this place. People are both devout and poor, despite the gold that flows through the city every day and on its way to St. Petersburg. The barges of precious metal are fast, but no good to us, as they're heading the wrong way. I kept looking for Goland, as we walked about the wooden pavements, but I did not see her. Supposed that she'd been whisked away by horse caravan into the deserts of the south. Perhaps it was for the best? Should we follow this a little bit? I don't know. Perhaps the sight of the mysterious Garuda would persuade Monsieur Fogg. I mean, now we convinced them to book us on a train for Beijing tomorrow, but we got that for free because we did have the train equipment, right? So you can manage another case, can't you, Passepartout? Yeah, so we can't, unfortunately. Mongol horse caravan departs for Urga tomorrow at 8 AM, minus 51 health, and it arrives on Monday, so that's what, like 6 days? That's pretty crazy. Or Tuesday, Wednesday. It's like 5 days. If we just... and it costs, what, 54? If we just go to Beijing tomorrow at 10 AM... that's actually earlier. Costs less health. But I mean, I gotta try this out now, right? Tomorrow at 8 AM we can make that. The Garuda flies from Urga at night. Okay. Yeah. So I guess we'll just stay in the hotel for a night. Pass the night here. Nighttime in Irkutsk. From nearby, we heard the ferries moving back and forth Lake Baikal, and nearby, the mining machines cranked on through the night. Otherwise, all was still. We were in the very wilderness of the world, and I could not help feeling that we'd taken a wrong turn somewhere. I went out to explore, but found nothing for my wanderings but an old beggar who insisted on reading my palm. I allowed him, and he screwed up his eyes before foreseeing a great loss in Hong Kong. I thanked him, and he nodded and crept away. So maybe don't go to Hong Kong? I know. Let's depart. Let's do this, actually. should make things easier. Oh, thank God we have that one. Physical restorative set. Right. Why didn't we just take the train? This takes us longer to go a shorter way. Okay, so we joined the regular Beryad-led horse caravan between Irkutsk and Urga. Monsieur Fogg had a passable seat, of course, but I... steeled myself to endure the long ride. My steed was a stocky Mongolian horse of even temperament. It had a much better notion of how to conduct itself than I did, and so we came to an uneasy understanding. Yambin, the caravan leader, had brought his family along to visit relatives along the Selenga River, and so our journey was full of lively conversation, in a language I did not understand. Let's attend to Fogg on the way here. Ah, shaved, superb. By 10 p.m. that same day, Yambin drew his mount up to us as we stopped for the night. "Family," he said, and rolled his eyes. "Be sure to shake out your sleeping bags before you bed down. My little cousins are terrible pranksters." Good advice. As it turned out, when they had managed to smuggle so many spiders into our... When had they managed to smuggle so many spiders into our bedclothes? I'm on fine form, but we must make haste. Converse. Greetings, Byambin. How about Urga? I find your accent confusing. Urga, Yokohama. Did you know you can buy amethysts in Yokohama? You can sell for profit in Hong Kong. Urga, Ussurisk. I'm sorry, I have to run. Alright. I asked Byambin whether he had seen Goland. Describing her as best I could. Mongolian princess, he translated for his sisters. And all of them howled with laughter. Can you wrestle, my friend? I've never tried wrestling, I admitted confusedly. Rambin's eldest sister Namgar clapped me on the shoulder. I will tell you the story of another Mongolian princess. Kutulun, niece of Kublai Khan. It will help you woo your Goland. A Frenchman needs no help in such matters. Nice. I wonder if I will ever see her again, if I'm honest. Consider my story nonetheless, said Namgar. Kutulun decreed that any suitors must defeat her in a wrestling match. If they lost, she would take their horses. I don't have any horses, and was she ever defeated? So I should challenge Golan to a wrestling match? Are you likely to win? Byambin asked. Maybe she will take pity on me. No. Namgar gave me a long, assessing look. Ah well, she sighed. It is probably for the best. You would make a terrible Khan. Hey, that wasn't the outcome I wanted, I guess. I fell silent as the caravan reached the town of Verknoydinsk. Ah, my friends, the simple luxury of sleeping under a roof. Well now, this journey is proving more tiring than I expected. Horse-hungry accused of World's Fair saber rattling. We were stopped by a troop of Cossacks a few miles out of Verknoydinsk, the yellow stripes on their cap bands and trousers bright against the grey-green landscape. I pulled my cap down and tried to make myself inconspicuous. Alas, my master's top hat was far too distinctive to pass notice. The Cossack lieutenant pointed at me and asked a series of questions in Russian. I glanced towards Byambin, made a series of wide gestures, which I hoped meant, "These are strange foreigners, but quite harmless, Lieutenant." Cossack troopers interrogated the other caravanners for a good hour, but eventually rode away. They are looking for an escaped convict from the nearby Katorga, Yambin said darkly. Nothing to do with us. This journey was suddenly seeming endless, and my Goland was nowhere to be seen. Oh, Passepartout, I thought, what have you done? Also, I created a major scandal with Rosa. I'm not sure I'm gonna see her again. We walked to Abroh. A thin, ragged woman had staggered up to our camp in the pale light of dawn, collapsed beside the horses. Is it Goland? Ah, Goland! But of course it was not. I was seeing the girl's face in every shadow, and rather embarrassed about it too. This woman is the prisoner the Cossacks seek, Byambin said, tugging worriedly at his sleeves. We should leave her. Namgar gave him a freezing look. She came to our campfire, and you would turn her away? Cossacks are already gone, I pointed out. They need know nothing. The Cossacks will return, and if they find her with us, Byambin shuddered, then we will be the ones in the prison camp. Must take her with us, I declared. No matter the consequences, Monsieur Fogg added. That is very nice to hear, Namgar said sweetly, but I would have sooner left you two than her. She picked up the convict like a bale of hay and slung her over my mount. Do not worry, I said soothingly to my new traveling companion. The woman stirred a little, and I saw her eyes were a bright leaf green before they shut once more. I do not want to break rocks for the rest of my life, Byambin muttered sadly, as we set out once more. I will surely choke on prison camp gruel. Your attentions are much appreciated. The convict awoke today, and to my surprise she spoke French as well as Russian. It was not my first time in the Katorga, Verushka boasted, nor is this my first escape. Where did you learn to speak French? In Switzerland, where I was studying only 3 years ago. It feels more like a lifetime. Verushka told me she'd studied to be a doctor in a Swiss university, but given up her degree to fight injustice in her homeland. Do you not miss your profession? Do you think the people here do not need doctoring? But you mean my income? And no, I do not miss that. I do not miss that. She smiled. The Tsar can send me to Siberia 1,000 times, but I will not lose my purpose. You are most diverting, my good man. Verushka and Namgar had a shouting match on the outskirts of Urga. She wishes us to abandon her, Namgar raged. She thinks she will put us at risk if she enters the city with us. We will take the risk, I said stoutly. We have come this far together. My friends, Verushka said soothingly, I will simply wait here for nightfall and creep into Urga alone. I will take a Garuda and be gone before the Cossacks even suspect I am here. It will be easier to sneak in with the group, I said. We can hide you in our number. Yes, Namgar exclaimed. Now that is sensible. It is a grave risk for you, Verushka added doubtfully. Are you sure? Oh god, I'm not sure if this is a good idea. But I think we'll commit to this. And after a moment, she gave me a tremulous nod. In Brambin's clothes or in Monsieur Fogg's clothes? In Monsieur Fogg's clothes. They'll just think she's like a weird outsider. Complete with top hat. Would pass her off as a Swiss gentleman, if worst came to worst. We rode into the city together, hearts hammering wildly. Cossack trooper looked us over, and I smiled and chatted away in French, hoping to distract him from our smuggled cargo. He pointed at Verushka, who played the haughty Swiss gentleman to the hilt. Cossack waved us on. My heart lifted as we made it into Urga. Verushka leapt from her house, threw her arms around Namgar and then me. Thank you, Passepartout. Thank you. Good luck in your revolution. I don't need luck, she laughed. I'll send you a pamphlet from wherever I end up. I'm going to expose the Tsar's Katorgas to the world. With that, she kissed me upon the cheek and disappeared into the crowds of Urga. How's that gonna affect my relationship to the princess? I mean, are they on opposite political sides? I'm not sure. 12 p.m. There seems to be no departures today. We should explore a little. When are there these departures? Beijing? Tomorrow at 11 a.m. Arrives Wednesday. 310. That's actually okay. We only lost like 2 days then, I think. Or maybe 3. But we saved 150 monies. So then we can at 11 a.m. so we can explore, we can go to the market. Let's go to the market first. Hammer is valuable in Batavia. We're not gonna go there, I think. In Calgary? I mean, sure. Fur-lined boots. I think we need to get rid of this. Also, shaving kit, I'm not sure. Maybe we can get rid of the railway whistle as well. Oh god, we need to get rid of some stuff, right? First though, I think we need to explore. Arrived in Urga and I walked the city, hoping despite myself to catch a glimpse of my Mongolian princess. Of course, I saw no such thing. Someone of her class would not be wandering between the tents, temples, low buildings, and smelting plants. Oh, there's supposed to be a great flying ship as well. Boldly, I made my way to the Zunkuri temple complex in the center of the town, a walled enclosure of huge tents, from which fluttered pennons and colored flags. Frenchmen must leave no stone unturned in the matters of the heart. At the gate were 2 guards who stopped me with crossed spears. What business do you have? I'm looking for Goland, I declared. You're foreign, one remarked. She's expecting me. The guards exchanged a quick glance. Clearly, a foreigner with such a request was unusual enough to be worth considering. I handed them the solder she'd given me. Surely this proves it. The lad guard thought for a moment, then gestured to his fellow to take the message. As we waited, I tried to find some shade. Get out of the baking sunshine. It would not do to be sweating should Goland appear. Eventually the guard returned alone. Goland says she remembers you, the guard declared, and that you're not to come in. But that you should visit the ruins on Consul Hill, where Garuda awaits. I nodded. Ruins on Consul Hill. Where's Consul Hill? I nodded, crestfallen but not broken-hearted. Then moved away into the city, back to my master. So, when is this leave? 290 in 2 days at 2 p.m. 950 for a day sooner? Nah. Do I want to go to Yokohama though? I mean, there's something bad happening in Hong Kong or something, right? So I guess I'll have another day. Before retiring, I went to stretch my legs, but found nothing of great interest. 6:30 a.m. So either arrives Friday, I foresee a great loss for 690, or go to Beijing first, arrives tomorrow, or arrives Friday. $290. Oh, worth a lot in Yokohama. Well, 380 is actually not that much. Left of the law. Englishman's wardrobe. Yeah, I don't think we'll need that anymore. Blue shirts. I want to kind of break it down to railway cap, maybe? Sure. To 2 suitcases. How many can we take on this, actually? 3? Okay. So I could go to the bank, but I think we'll be fine for now. Hotel plus 1 day, plan, market. Yeah. Valuable in Batavia. Out of the cold climate set. No, we're gonna be leaving the cold climate pretty soon. Air traveler set. Short bread biscuit could still be useful. Calgary. Boot made with 3 strings made of horsehair. Yeah, I'm just wondering whether I messed up that Princess Quest now. But yeah, see you in the next video.